Kathy, and I'm going to talk to you today about performance-based assessments. As you can see by my little teeter-totter over here, that performance-based assessments talk about, do you know it and can you use it? So do you know it, first of all, starts out with, do you know the colors, let's say, or no, do you know the numbers? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you come to the other side, and can you use it? So that'd be like adding them or subtracting them or things like that. So there's are many types of performance-based assessments. The first one is interviews. Interviews can be either a formal or an informal interview. The formal interview could be a type of a test, kind of like, do you know these colors? Do you know these shapes? Do you know these objects? Can you count to 10? Do you know these letters? Can you spell your name? All those kind of things. That's a formal interview. An informal interview would be more like something that would say, you're talking to them and you say, what color is your shirt? Or do you know what kind of animal that what is? That kind of thing, where you're having a conversation with a child, but you're also asking them questions that you're going to observe and write down either then or a little bit later, so you remember, so you can put that on your goal sheet at another time. Then we've got a teacher-child contract, and that's when you are maybe having a lack of performance from a child, such as maybe they don't know all their colors, and both of your goals are to learn 8 colors within a month. So you say to the child, you know what? Every day before we start playing, me and you, we're going to go over these 8 colors because I know you can get them and I know that you want to learn them. So every day for 5 minutes before play, we're just going to go over these colors until we get them. How's that sound? That type of thing. So that would be a teacher-child contract that would be based on a performance. Then there's a directed assignment. Most of these you see in elementary education. I'm showing a picture of a book report. However, you can have a child come up to you at the table and say, hey, can you make your first letter out of these rocks? Or can you make a pattern like red, blue out of these blocks? How high can you build these blocks? Can you write your name? Things like that are directed assignments that you're actually asking the child to do, and they're showing you how well they can do that task. We've got games. Now, games is a very great way to teach a skill or to assess a child. So many things can be seen just in games. If you're looking at this picture, we've got yellow, blue, and orange, both sides here. So they've definitely put them in order. There's a sequencing going on there. You've also got yellow, green, and blue here. They definitely had sequence in there. They're both standing in a circle that shows you your shapes. You got your cone for like a triangle. You've also got the children knowing what's first, second, third, fourth, fifth. You're taking turns. You're throwing those rings, seeing if you could hit this, make it around this thing. So you're doing hand-eye coordination. You're doing large motor. You're doing, you're not doing small motor, but you're just, all these things can be captured just within games themselves. Then we've got work samples. Work samples are just a sample of the child's work. This one is showing a child writing something. There could be a child that drew a picture of a person, or a child that drew, something else, or maybe painted, or maybe did a sculpting. Just any kind of work samples that you can save from the child that would show what their work was, so that was how they performed by working. Then we've got this word that says project, and that is from the project-based curriculum. And so what that really means is that the teachers take a subject such as trees, and they do an in-depth study on these trees. So for a month, you could just talk about trees. You could start out with, what is a tree? Do you know how many different trees there are? You can do tree identification. You could do how a tree grows. You can say what grows in trees, what lives in trees, what fruit comes from trees, what can you make with a tree. You can look at the leaves and see how they change and everything like that. So you've got, so I said, what kind of different trees are there? You got classification, you've got observation. A lot of times the teacher will have the children take notebooks and draw pictures of what they're trying to capture, or have the kids pick samples. And so, all these ways children are learning about trees hands on, and it's a really good way to watch them and see how they problem solve and how they think things through, and how they come up with ideas, and then help them run with those ideas if you can. The last way for performance based assessments is portfolios. And I like this picture right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on it a little bit. It says Jennifer's Castle. So there's a lot of moms who would love to come into my classroom and observe, but they're working, so they can't see that. But this teacher has taken a picture of this castle that this child has made. She's made like a little description underneath. But at the end of the day, we have to put away our blocks. We have to put away our toys. That's just, having a tidy classroom, having it ready for the kids in the morning, that kind of stuff. So we can't leave these things laying out. So taking a picture of it is a perfect way to preserve it, and then you put it in a portfolio. And portfolios are an excellent way to show a child's performance, because you've got, from one time all the way to the end. So you could have the beginning of the year to the end of the year, or I had a daycare. We went all the way from 0 to age 5. We also, in this Head Start program I'm working at now, we go from age 3 to age 5. So I can show the progression in a portfolio that we make from them starting 3 all the way to age 5. It's really awesome. And the last slide is about the advantage of performance-based assessments. And I think I explained all of that pretty well with the presentation ahead of time. But just to recap, you've got all kinds of things that you can assess children with, just by having your classroom set up and kind of have some goals in your mind that we want to do. And just so an advantage for that is just to see what the children can do, and then you can just jot it down, or mark it on a piece of paper, and then you'll know what they have to do to get better, or what they can do, and you can formally assess them that way as well. So thanks for listening, and have a good day.